All right, so this is converting between decimals and percents. So I have a cute little trick for this. Hopefully you guys know that we're just going to be moving the decimal twice. But the confusion that I get once in a while is which way do I go? You know, like depending on if I want to go from percent to decimal or decimal to percent, which way do I move the decimal? That's the confusion. So here, we're going to learn this in a second, but here's the method. So a percent, if you're turning a percent to a decimal, then you move the decimal 2 places to the left. So it looks like this. So if you have 25%, then you're going to move it twice to the left, and then now it becomes, as a decimal, 0.25. And that kind of makes sense because when you have something written as a percent, here, let me write this. This percent symbol really means per 100. So 25 per 100. I mean, cent does mean 100. I don't know if that's Latin or whatever. It means 100. The root word means 100, right? So 25 per 100. So that means that's equal to 25 over 100. And maybe you guys aren't aware of this little trick, but whenever you have a power of 10, which means a 1, any number that is followed by, it starts with a 1 and followed by a bunch of zeros, that's called a power of 10. Any number that, so here's another example of the power of 10. Any number that's a power of 10, we're gonna, when you divide by a power of 10, you're just gonna move the decimal place to the left, the number of zeros that are on that power of 10. So if I was dividing a number by 1,000, like 75 by 1,000, I would move that decimal 3 times to the left. That's how I would rewrite it. Because there's 1, 2, 3 zeros in the bottom, I move the decimal 1, 2, 3 times. Anyway, so with this one problem, and the same thing here, if I had like 7, if I had like this number, let's just say 5, 2, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zeros in the bottom. So I would move, to write this as a decimal, I would move that, or to perform that division of this number divided by that number, I would have moved the decimal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it would become 0.71. Okay. Anyway, so 25 per 100, there's 1, 2 zeros in the denominator, which means I'm going to move that to the left twice. So it's 0.25. And I would have written 25 as a whole number and know that the decimal place comes always after the ones place, to the right of the ones, and then I would move it 2 troughs, and then it would be placed 0.25. Okay, so that's how we know that 25% should be written as 0.25. But also, okay, so that's one way to do it. I have no little tricks for the opposite way, but when you turn a decimal into a percent, you're going to go 2 places to the right. So if it's 0.75, and then you're going to move the decimal twice to the right to turn it to a percent, and it'll be 75%. I don't have any tricks on remembering that, except for this third trick that I'm going to show you. So whenever I want to convert from percent to decimal, decimal to percent, all I remember is I need to move the decimal twice, 2 places. Okay. Now the direction is harder for me to remember. Which direction am I going to move these 2 decimal places? That's hard to remember. So to help me remember the direction, I write the word decimal and percent in alphabetical order. Decimal and percent. If I want to convert from a decimal, because so this is alphabetical order. D came before P in the alphabet, alphabetical order. D came before P in the alphabet, and that's why I put D decimal first and percent second. Okay. Now, if I want to go to convert, from percent to decimal, then I start at percent because I have a percent. If I'm trying to go from percent to decimal, I have a percent and I'm trying to go to decimal. So it's the direction of the arrow here that I get is the direction that I need to move the decimal place. Get that? So that's kind of cool. So that's why for this first one, because we're going from percent to decimal, that's why we were moving to the left. And then if I do it again, if I wanted to convert from decimal, so I'd start at decimal and go to percent, then this arrow points to the right. So it helps me remember whenever I convert from decimal to percent, I move to the right. All right. I hope you found this valuable. Have a great day. Bye.